Today on the channel, our Jakks Class Superstars Deep Dive videos continue with Jakks Deluxe Classic Series 3. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for our continuing saga, the continuing deep dive into the Jakks Classic Superstars series. As you guys know, for well over a year and a half now, every single Tuesday on the channel, we're talking Jakks Classic Superstars, and we're carrying on Jakks Deluxe Classic Superstars in today's video as we take a look at Series 3. But if you missed any of the other videos, go check out the playlist on my channel. We've done all the single carded, the exclusives, the double packs, the 3-packs, miscellaneous, a lot of videos to catch up on if you've missed any for whatever reason. And make sure you subscribe to the channel while you're here, as for the next month or two, we're going to be working through these Deluxe Classic Superstars. So we're at Series 3 right now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. But Series 3, Toys R Us exclusive like the series is before them. Now we had heavy hitters in Series 1, Series 2. Some heavy hitters in Series 3 as well, but I guess not quite as heavy as the first two series. You can't keep up that momentum the whole time, but still a very strong series for the Deluxe Classic Superstars here. I remember, just like usual, they would pop up on the West Coast first. People on the WFigs board, Wrestling Figs board, would post, oh, we're in California, here's pictures, stuff, and I would know like clockwork the following Friday, or possibly the following Friday after that. My Toys R Us, like clockwork, would have those about 4 or 5 o'clock p.m. I remember always going in there and then grabbing dinner afterwards, usually a pizza, because you guys know I'm a pizza guy. Friday night pizza, a tradition since I was a little kid. But yeah, so I was picking these up, had no issues that I recall getting these guys. Every once in a while, like we've talked with the traditional Jakks Class Superstars, the Deluxe were the same. The star would get damaged sometimes, and there was a couple of sets, and I can't remember which ones they were, that were very heavily damaged on the stars. The majority of people found them, they were damaged, and I remember, I can't remember what set it was, but I remember finding a whole case, one I needed, star damage throughout, and I was just so disappointed. Luckily, back then, I had 2 Toys R Us's in my town. I ended up going a couple days later, and I luckily found the same set at that second Toys R Us. They were minty mint like I needed them to be. But that was part of the fun and part of the pain and part of the pleasure of the Jakks Classic Superstars line, is finding a figure you really need, but then the star being damaged or whatever. If you're an inbox person, the hunt would have to continue. Much like today's day and age, where the Masters Universe Origins, Masters WWE Universe figures, you guys know I needed minty cards, but I needed them unpunched. And there was nothing worse finding one you need, but they're all punched. So some things never change, I guess. But always fun, a little extra challenge to the hunt, which a lot of people don't like, but I'm sick. I'm a sick individual. I always like an extra challenge. But Jakks Class Superstars, the Deluxe Class Superstars Series 3, a very cool set, an interesting set. Let's get after it. Let's dive into it. All right, we kick off Series 3, and we've got Lex Luger. Yes, that Lex Luger in his USA gear. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly certain this is his first representation in his USA gear. As we know, we got the Narcissist in the Hasbro days. If Hasbro would have stuck around a little bit longer, we would have got the red, white, and blue Lex Luger, but we didn't get it. But we got the Narcissist. But this is our first go-around with the red, white, and blue old Lex Express. Peacock, where's that documentary? Let's get that thing out. I'm sure I dissuaded you by asking for it. But it was cool to get a different Lex Luger, as we'd had a Lex Luger in a shirt as a 2-pack in the Toys R Us exclusives. We had the regular black trunks. I guess to me the most iconic look for Lex Luger is the black trunks. But it was cool to get something different in the Deluxe Classic. I'd still would have liked to have this version of Lex Luger in the traditional Ruthless Aggression. But beggars can't be choosers. And then all these years later, as you guys know, Mattel did finally give us a Lex Luger Elite in the USA gear. So interesting. But let's take a look at the packaging on this one. Oh, Lex Express right there. Very interesting. He comes with the WCW title at the time, where this is more the American Lex Express title chase with Yokozuna. So that's always very interesting. Of course, he's doing his kicks over here on the side. You got to be kicking. If you're Lex Luger, you're doing crazy karate kicks, as he was known. He was basically a ninja at most times of his career. But we do got the ring skirt behind him as well that we've seen before with the other ones. The title belt, like I mentioned, and as I always say in these videos, these are the best title belts. Still to this day, I think the Jakks Deluxe Classics are. As far as, over Mattel, the regular Jakks, Just beautiful title belts here. Luger, he's kind of positioned in there. As we know, these are bigger figures, taller figures, but I always thought they did a very good job with this Lex Luger, and he actually fits the body type for these. A lot of people complain about the Deluxe Classics and the Deluxe Aggressions being a little bit over muscular. Well, it definitely works in somebody like Lex Luger's case. Lex Luger on the side, that orange that we know and love, the black, glamour shots, like I said, doing his gymnastics routine down below. But just, I love the packaging, as we talked about in the last two videos. It does fit in with your classic superstars, but has a touch of difference, but not a huge touch of difference. So you can tell it's in the same family there. And you got glamour shots of old Lex up there. We got the blurb. We'll check that out. And then, of course, we got the rest of the line down here. We're going to talk about each and every one of those. Warnings, UPCs, all that fun stuff on the bottom. Let's see what it says about old Lex Luger. Debuted 1985, 265 pounds, 6'4". Finishing move, the Human Torture Rack. Titles, WCW Champion, United States Champion, WCW Tag Team Champion. So, yeah, he did some things in his career, of course, Lex Luger. Never at the top of my favorite list. I always like the big guys. And one of the age-old questions, I think we did do a top 5 countdown of my favorite Lex Luger videos, or my favorite Lex Luger figures on the channel. We did do that countdown, and I asked the age-old question there. Now, if Lex Luger wore face paint, let's say like Sting back in the day, where would he be in young Kyle's mind and today's Kyle mind as far as favorite of all time? That's an interesting question. It's one I don't know the answer totally to. I have to think if Lex Luger would have had face paint, it would have brought him to another level for old young Kyle. And he could be right up there with the Ultimate Warrior and Sting as one of my, LOD and Demolition is one of my favorites. But he didn't wear the face paint. And I don't even put him in my top 10 or top 20 favorite wrestlers of all time. So it's really interesting how that works. How about you? Would you have been a bigger Lex Luger fan if he would have donned face paint? I gotta think I would have been. And it's funny how that all works, and it's something to think about. It's one of those questions that maybe nobody's asked, but where would he have been with face paint? There you go. But there's Lex Luger. Well, let's take a look at the next one. All right, next up in Series 3, we've got Ravishing Rick Rude. Ultimate Warrior nemesis back in the day, as we all know, him and Ultimate Warrior. Quite the battles over the Intercontinental title and the World title. Definitely fits to be in the Classic Superstars era, and this is a beautiful one. It is Deluxe Classic with a nice soft goods robe. Beautiful Intercontinental title with this one. Once again, my favorite title belts. Just really good, but for some reason, I never really liked this figure a whole lot. I always felt his hair looked a bit weird. And he did kind of have that perm look a little bit during this time, so I guess I can't totally fault it. But it's just an interesting one. I just never grew attachment to this. And I do like Rick Rude a lot. He was probably one of my main favorite villains back in the old school WWF days. So I did like Rick Rude a lot, but this one just didn't work for me. And I did like his Jakks regular Classic Superstar figure a whole lot. So it's just the yin and the yang sometimes, I guess. Well, let's take a look at the package on Rick Rude. Beautiful robe there. It looks all sequined-y. Got the Intercontinental title, like I said. Beautiful glamour shot on the side, a little demonstration of some of his action features in the fully posable toy here. Ravishing Rick Rude on the side. We know the packaging by now. And on the back, it shows him without the robe, so he's got the green tights on, sprayed on, of course, as we know. Just nice looking there is the tights, but you don't get to see any of that if you're a Min on Card guy, as he's covered up by the robe. I don't remember any staining issues with this one. I could be wrong, but I don't remember of hearing of any staining issues. Of course, we got the cross sell down below. We got the blurb. We got the warnings. We got the UPCs, all that fun stuff. Let's see what it says about old Ravishing Rick Rude. Debuted 1983, 251 pounds, 6'3". Finishing move, the good old Rude Awakening, of course. Intercontinental Champion, WCW Intercontinental Champion. I don't know if that's quite correct. No. We see errors every once in a while. WCW United States Heavyweight Champion. And I loved Rick Rude throughout the 80s, but man, I really loved him when he was in the Dangerous Alliance. The Dangerous Alliance was one of, I almost want to say guilty pleasures, but not really. I absolutely loved that era of WCW. The War Games match, and Zbyszko, Bobby Eaton, Arn Anderson, Paul E., Medusa, Rick Rude. Something about that faction was just really, really good. And I remember interpreting and with my Hasbros, my Gloobs as a kid, playing along, watching it on TV, and I would have my own Dangerous Alliances, and I would kind of follow some of those storylines in my playing days. Just some of the funnest time for me as a kid watching wrestling was with Ravishing Rick Rude and his feuds with Sting. I mean, he really took it to a next level is how it felt like for me when he went to WCW, at least. I don't know about you out there, but I always felt he turned it up another notch. But that's what I always thought about Rick Rude. So there it is. There's old Rick Rude. Let's take a look at the next one. All right, next up in Series 3, representing the NWO, the old black and white brand, we've got Scott Hall. Don't call him Razor Ramon. Always interesting, the classic superstars, which way they're going to go. Are they going to go with Razor Ramon? Are they going to go with Scott Hall? Here they went, Scott Hall, and we never did get a Razor Ramon in the Deluxe Classic line. For good or for bad, depending where you sit and what side of the fence you're on for that. Maybe some of us would have liked to have both, I'm sure. But this Scott Hall always was a weird one. I always hated how he was looking down in the package, as you can see there. And he always had way too big of a head. I always thought the head on this one was way too big. We saw this head reused later in a Ringside Collectibles 2-pack with Kevin Nash, which we talked about on the channel, the old NWO 2-pack. I always thought that was a little bit off, and this head was just something missing. I could tell it was Scott Hall, but there was just something that wasn't firing on all cylinders there. We got the old NWO shirt on. It is not soft goods. It is plastic goods. It is the knee pads there, those kind of famous later on Scott Hall knee pads. Just an interesting figure. Of course, the ring skirt there. Scott Hall on the side. And you got a glamour shot over there. Packaging, we know it. We love it by now. On the back, you got a little bit of glamour shots there of just his head, the entire figure, the Classic Superstars logo. Cross-sell down below for the rest of Series 3 that we're working our way through. UPCs, warnings, all that fun stuff going on there with Scott Hall. So an interesting one. I don't know, just probably my least favorite in this Classic Superstars Series 3 set. Just never have been a big fan of this figure for whatever reason. That's just the way it goes sometimes. But there it is, Scott Hall. All right, next up in the Deluxe Classic line, no stranger to any toy line, especially Mattel these days, if you're following along with current Mattel releases in the Legends line, as we've technically got 4 Jake the Snake Roberts Mattel Elites in about the last year, which seems crazy, but gotta get the most out of your molds, gotta get the most out of your people before they are gone and no longer accessible to you to make toys to. So I know what they're doing there, but we've had Jake Roberts in the Classic Superstars, we've had him in LJNs, we've had him in Hasbro's, we had him in Mattel's, of course. So he's a guy that's got a lot of figures over the years. And this one, a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. I don't mind it. I like the snake on the side of his pants going on there. I like the coloring, the bright, colorful. I always like the head sculpt on this Jake Snake Roberts. It looks good. Obviously, this is one where you say he was never that ripped. He was never that big. And the one thing that really takes it down a notch for me is the snake. The snake just felt like a throw-in. I wouldn't be shocked if this isn't from some other Jakks toy line. They just said, oh, here's a snake. We can use this. Getting the most out of your molds. Because the snake is a little bit small. Just feels like it doesn't fit in with this toy. Just very strange. It just doesn't look right to me, and that's how I feel about this Jake the Snake Roberts figure. Could have been better. Not his best figure, not in my top 10 Jake Snake figures of all time, but definitely a guy that deserves to be in the Deluxe Classic line. On the side there you go. On the side, you got old Jake, looking like he can look. And on the back, there's Jake. You got the snake kind of for showing. You got the cross-sell. You got the UPCs. You got the warnings. All that kind of fun stuff. Let's see what it says about our old pal Jake the Snake Roberts here on the back. Debuted 1975, 252 pounds, 6'6". Finishing move, the DDT, a.k.a. Don't Do It Twice. I don't remember that. Is that what they call the DDT, a.k.a. Don't Do It Twice? I've never heard that in my entire life. That can't be right. Has anybody ever heard that? The DDT, a.k.a. Don't Do It Twice. That's weird. I have no idea where that came from. I had no memory until I just read that was in there. So that is very strange. So forever, from now on, from this moment, the DDT, don't do it twice. There you go. Pro tip, pro tip. All right, we got one left. Some would say the biggest heavy hitter of the set. We're talking about the Undertaker. All right, the final one in Series 3, we've got The Undertaker, and I would say probably the one that lowered my expectations the most in this set. A little bit disappointing with this Undertaker. Definitely deserves to be in this line. It's just not the Undertaker we were hoping to get, and we'll explain once we get to the packaging here. But as you can see, we got The Undertaker in the package. He has the world title belt. We'll never forget when he beat Hulk Hogan for that, of course. The ring skirt in the back. Looking really good there. And of course, he does have his hat, his patented Undertaker hat. Early edition Undertaker. I'm glad this is the one we got in Deluxe Classic. I think that was a good idea, at least for your first Taker. Let's give us this one, and then we'll see another Taker here very shortly in the next couple of weeks. Taker on the side, of course. Taker glamour shot, and little glamour shots and the little bubbles of, here's what this figure can do. Let's put it through its paces like a nice car. But on the back is where things fall apart real quick. Real quick. You get the glamour shots of Taker there, and you can see the cross-sell down below. That's where it falls apart for Taker. It shows him in his nice leather jacket that we got with his, what was it, Toy Fair exclusive, Wizard World exclusive we got way back in the day. We got that in the regular Classic Superstars line. Well, no jacket with this one. So they're promoting it on the back with the jacket. I remember when I saw this, I said, wait a minute, where's this jacket? Maybe I got an error, and then I looked, I saw another one, and I said, oh gosh, they forgot the jacket. So I know some people say that's so Jakks. I'm not sure. I don't think it's ever been explained as to why he doesn't have his jacket, but hey, he doesn't. And I think it makes this figure feel a little awkward and a little weird without the jacket. Just my personal opinion. Just depends where you sit on that. But on the back it says, debuted 1989, 328 pounds, 6'10", finishing move, the Tombstone Pile Driver, undisputed champion, world heavyweight champion, world tag team champions, hardcore champion, Royal Rumble winner 2007. So Taker got a mighty Hall of Fame career, as we all know. He'll be in the Hall of Fame whenever he wants to be, I'm fairly certain. So there it is. That's Jakks Deluxe Classic Series 3. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on this set. Do you have any memories of hunting after this set back in the day? Are you collecting this set now? Let me know in the comments down below. And then, of course, give the video the old thumbs up. Give it an old like. Give it an old share. Give it an old subscription to the channel. Hit the notification bell. SirPaul64 is where you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. And, of course, ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. So for The Undertaker and the rest of Jakks Deluxe Classic Series 3, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.